Hello and welcome to Dom 6, Rise of the Podcaster, your premier Dominion 6 podcast. With me, HP Munchcraft, are our other co-hosts, Soron, Rovsea, and new host, Nicknight. I don't know if he wanted to be on the podcast, but he is now. And today we had trouble finding a good topic, so we're just going to start off by trying to start a conversation by either listing an interesting discovery we found playing Dom 6 or a new hot take that we've come up with since Dom 6 came out. So, Nick Knight, I think you had a serious hot take you were about to drop on people. Was that serious, or were you just memeing?
Yes, that is serious. I believe heroism is overrated. It is good, but there is a lot of people who are taking it as the end-all, be-all of blesses.
Well, I've been taking it as the end-all, be-all of blesses, so... Want to expand on that?
I rest my case. So, what heroism effectively is going to give you is a bunch of stats. It's not going to give you quite as much as you think, because you would be getting XP stars without it. Yep. But it is still going to roughly equal plus 1 to 2 attack, defense, maybe a point of reinvigoration, maybe a point of strength.
You get morale and precision from it as well, for whatever
hit points at the higher levels.
You do get morale and precision, though the precision really only matters if you have sacred mages. And it is a very good bless if you have sacred mages. I will not deny that.
Right. Because you get research from it, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a discount magic scale in a sort of way. But for nations without sacred mages, however, you are basically doubling down on one of the big issues with sacreds, which is when your sacred stat gets pummeled, and if you're in a game against actually intelligent players, it will be. It is even harder to recover from than it already would be, because now you're working back from having 5-star sacreds to having like the 1 or 2-star new sacreds from your capital.
Right.
And your bless isn't doing anything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the problem with what you're talking about here is running heroism naked is not good, and it's like a supporting thing. Kind of like how you need to layer your bless in a way, or layer heroism in it doing something. By itself, it's not going to carry.
I think you can run heroism naked on like elves, because you can train them against PD.
I still like
you can train them against PD to a point.
Yeah, true.
I'd rather take like heroism with like +2/+2 and maybe some other stuff, and I think it's like pretty good because it's pretty strong at that point because they just get better. And if you have sacred mages like Nick brought up, then it's really good for your army thugs later if you want to use your sacred mages offensively in that manner, and you're gonna be sniping heroics. So I think for those nations it's really good. But would I take it on someone who like only has like 1 sacred troop and the rest of their stuff isn't sacred? No. No.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think it's very interesting because I think it's like one of the most skill-intensive blesses, because you actually have to think about how you deploy your troops with heroism. It's not like just a flat bonus, or it's a flat bonus to XP, but it's not just a flat bonus on the battlefield. So it's like you do have to think like, am I sending in? If I send my guys in green with no experience stars, then yeah, they get nothing. But if you are an elf, if you have stealthy sacreds, then all of a sudden it becomes really good, as you can get your guys bloodied up on a couple of PD fights, get them a couple of stars, and then all of a sudden you got +2/+2 for much cheaper than you ordinarily would have paid for it, and then you.
There are also a few instances where it can be good. If you are end, you have that capital site that can train units.
Oh yeah.
If you put a commander in there, all of the units under his command also gain the benefit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really useful. It takes 1 turn to get an XP star on heroism 4 or 5, I believe.
Exactly.
I don't know what they are anymore, but especially if you're in a disciple game and you have access to cheap remote attacks, then you can cause like pings to occur. Or if you just decide to work with somebody else who's got heroism, you just constantly scout ping each other.
Oh.
I
How much
that's
XP
pretty
is that?
ratty.
That's pretty cheesy.
That's pretty rat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. I mean,
Yes,
I
because
think
there are absolutely no rats.
Wait,
in the
you know what?
Oh,
You know
that's
what? Ind
true.
also gets bird attacks every year.
Quite frankly,
true.
Yeah,
True.
quite frankly, is pinging people with scouts to train up their heroism units any more rat than arranging a deal to farm with the sickle of
Yes,
pain.
yes, but that's
Listen,
also
but we
rat.
already
Like,
flamed.
nobody here is advocating for that either, Nick. Only
Yeah,
you
that's
would.
so.
But it always happens.
Listen, we've already called out these players multiple times for their tactics. I don't think calling them out again for other things that they do of similar nature does anything.
Like that's still a rat thing to do. Like that's like arranging for. It's like for people arranging life after death bumps too. Like it's still a rat tactic.
That
It
got
doesn't
the
matter if
entire
it's a thing you
spell
can do.
fucking nerfed.
Yeah, you're gonna get gutted.
I really hate that they nerfed the whole spell.
I do too. Like, can't
Like
nerf
I
the
think
rat.
Elementor-
they took away the
Yeah.
primary. Like they nerfed it to get rid of this one problematic interaction, and they took away like the primary use case for a lot of nations. If you don't have the bless, right?
Right, yeah.
And
Yeah,
even if you have the bless, if you don't have the sacred mages, it's still impractical on a lot of them. So it's like I really hate it.
Yeah, there's definitely. I would prefer Elementor to give more buffs to spells that are weaker and less nerfs. I think.
No, it's like I don't know. Sometimes they try to fix like the nerdy loopholes that people come up with, and in doing
Yeah.
so, they needlessly over nerf something to the point of reducing its viability by a lot in competitive play.
So
Or
just,
usability in general. Like, when's the last time you've seen Stellar Cascades? Because I can't tell you when I have seen it.
Did they buff Stellar Cascade? Hold on.
fuck if I know, dog.
Maybe it's good now. Nobody's ever cast it, so how would they know?
It looks like
I
the same
think they've
spell.
increased the AOE from 5 to 7.
Yep, looks like it. 75% cast time, easy.
Still has issues because of the MR check for half damage.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's the big problem.
Is it AP still too?
So
It is AP. I could see it having use against elves, maybe, or other like low.
No, but
prot
you're gonna
type
do like
of
7 or so, right? Like it's like 10 armor, knocks down another 5.
So it's only Astral 2, so if you get enough S1 dorks in Light of the Northern Star, you can crap out a whole bunch of them. Maverni, Sorrow. Sorrow used to be a big offender of it with their soothsayers.
Yeah. AP, MR check for him.
Like, I understand that there's problem spells that will exist.
It's definitely better because it's like quicker to cast and larger AoE, but it's probably still not usable, honestly.
It's very situational.
Star-related thing.
I can tell you right now, it's probably very usable against new vans because you're going to put the horse to sleep basically instantly.
Talking about changes and
All right.
To be a little positive time, I do like that they like looked at problematic spell schools like evocation, and they're just like, you know what? We're just gonna blanket buff that thing, just slap buffs across the board.
Hell yeah! I mean,
and then they went to like, people don't like conjuration. Let's go look at those rituals. Slapped buffs across the board up there too.
they actually put
How about we
shit
double,
casting
like-
in thaumaturgy, so that's good.
Yeah, true. I think you can point to specific problematic things, but if we're looking at the big picture changes, I think the spell school changes were good.
I think almost all of it was good. I would just preferred they went to the early blood and fixed up some of those spells.
There is-
Just the 1 to 5.
I do have one other small complaint, is that I feel like early construction used to be really interesting, and now it's harder to get to, so it's less interesting.
Oh yeah, that's
They
super
removed,
doggers.
they removed weapons of sharpness from construction. They didn't add in like that earth shatter thing, which really would fit construction. They didn't put that in construction.
Not to put that in enchantment with weapons of
It
sharpness.
feels like you don't get a lot from construction until you hit 5 a lot of the time.
But you get a little midget Legions of Steel. Isn't that fucking special?
No, you still get.
You do get an
big-
AoE 20. Like,
Yeah,
that's
level
pretty
4.
much the same spell, honestly.
Yeah, they again nerfed it. Granted, I think construction.
Yeah,
was
it's
pretty
one level
strong.
lower, but it's
But
not
now
bad.
it's
I
pretty
mean, that's
weak.
fair to me. Did they buff the lumber construct?
Oh, pog.
They did.
Yes.
Did they? Did they? I think they did. Hold on.
Come on, man.
You get 4 lumber
Yes, they
constructs,
did.
dog.
You get 4 for 6. It used to be 1 for 3.
Hey, that's actually worth casting, probably.
They actually
Oh, you
buffed
get
it.
crushers? Oh, no, wait, crushers still 1 for 10. Trash. The lumber construct buff? That's huge.
They did knock down 5 gem costs on the price, but it's probably not good.
It's still
50%
trash. You're
more
paying 10
clockwork
gems
ores.
for 1 fucking dork. It's not gonna do anything.
Corpse Man is the same. Wait, is it? Yeah.
I just wish Illinter would take a step away from like their 10 gem, 1 dude policy, unless it's like that's a really good one, but a lot of times.
I mean, well, they at least took a step in the right direction, right? It used to be 15 for
absolutely.
1. Now it's
Yeah,
10 for
I mean-
1.
Hey, now wouldn't
stuff.
constructions being worth casting is gonna
Wait,
be
this is a
something
new
very
spell. What is
fun.
what is an Iron Griffin?
Right? No idea.
That's no.
Iron
That's-
Glyphon?
That's new.
That's-
Maybe it's good. Who knows? Maybe.
Okay, does anyone else have a, let's see, interesting take or hot take or interesting observation they've found?
I mean, I got the hot take with I
Yeah,
think
go
Blood's
for it.
overrated, but
Oh, the Blood's overrated. Do we want to rerun that conversation?
I mean, I think
animalistic?
they should fix Infernal Disease and just buff the school, just 1 through 5. Add scaling on all the little blood summons so you can actually see them in the game, and there's some use.
I think Soron is widely correct. You really need to have a whole confluence of elements meet to make blood early on usable.
Besides the
that's
level
not
1
true.
spell,
I think
there's
it's-
like
Imps?
the one spell which people always, I mean, like people bring it up all the time, but like Imps is the only low-level blood spell that is like just always useful or almost
Fair.
always useful.
And
in the early
reinvigoration. Reinvigoration
Yeah.
and Sabbaths.
But past
other
that,
than that,
Right,
for
they get their
like-
support spells first, and then they don't get their like good spells till far later.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
for
it's like
actual-
Blood 1 is good. Blood 2 and 3 are trash, and Blood 4 is sometimes good.
I mean, have you tried spamming agony at people? Maybe it's good. Like,
I've
heard
tried using Agony in 5.
Agony is
Bloodhenge Druids have.
if
Bloodhenge
Olm is
Druids
moving
will
a
bomb the
giant-
shit out of you with agony, but they
Yeah,
do like
if
15
EA
slaves.
Olm is moving a giant stack at you, then you can agony them, but they really need to have like subhuman MR for it to be useful. That said, there are nations where early blood is very useful. MA Pyrene does hit that exact confluence of like massible mages that can summon storm demons. And more notably are, of course, Miklin, Zabalba, Lanka, the nations with sacred blood summons.
Yeah, we're obviously I'm not talking about any nation that gets national blood because that's the boon, and they have the spells in those respective levels. I'm just talking like if you have like a generic blood, like your Jotunheim, your Soramatia, you don't have these spells. MA Zib doesn't have it. I can't think of all these nations, but
Yeah,
the ones that don't have it, it's like going at blood is like very secondary or third like choice, even fourth choice until you start diving into it for the later spells.
Well, I think
absolutely.
once you hit the mid game, you can absolutely dive blood. Less so than it used to be because lifelong protections are nerfed, but I think once you hit the solid mid game, you do want to get your blood economy moving and start cheating.
It's not like
resources.
lifelong protections were in blood.
Yeah, they were in construction. Yeah, which is my point. So why does this tree have to suffer?
Now. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so it's like, why does the blood tree early on, Hellfire Heart's a good spell, but then like we have to wait a little bit to get something else, and then once we hit 6 and 5 where we have Infernal Balance, which should be nerfed.
There is actually a spell I noted that they added into lower blood that does have its uses, especially if you up precision.
Okay.
Give me 1 second for this new turn to generate so I can check the research log.
Well, before you say that, so the reason why Storm Demons are a little bit better, they were always a solid summon, but what I learned earlier, they did make Storm Demons have infinite ammo, which is
I mean, hey, that's
an
nice.
interesting change.
Yeah, it costs fatigue now.
Here we go. In research level 1, Blood Burst.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's very interesting. It only hits one square, but if the enemy is not like if they're using elite troops and not baiting you, that could be very, very nasty.
It's baby leech.
But the issue is the precision. Precision 5. You can miss very easily.
That's
AoE
fine.
1.
Precision 5 is a lot of bonus, right? Precision 5 is 5.
Yeah, but like,
caster.
let's say you cast it from 30 squares away, and you're trying to hit like 1 square of elites.
You can't do it.
You're gonna miss most of the time.
Okay, so the enemy. This is your fuck off. I'm being sacred rush spell. Then when they pile a bunch of sacreds at you,
Where is Blood
blast
Burst? I'm looking for it.
It's Blood 1.
Blood 1.
That's nice.
Oh.
Yeah, very early.
Hey, yeah, see, there's
It's
your
in that weird spot where it takes Blood 1 to cast, but it costs 2 Blood Slaves, so...
Oh, Blood
Effectively, it
Heal
needs two
is
blood.
new, by the way.
I thought
What is-
Blood Heal was in.
I
That
don't
sounds
5.
new.
I thought it was in 5.
That's
Maybe
no?
I'm on crack.
It heals the caster.
On crack.
What is that? That sounds
Maybe.
like some sort of weird forcing turbo communion thing. Well, who would cast that?
Wait. Oh, jeez.
No.
Immediately.
It
Wait,
would
wait.
affect
jeez.
caster, right?
Yeah.
Wait. Bloodburst apparently existed in Dom 5, and Blood
Yes.
Heal existed in Dom 5.
So
I have never.
So we're just
I don't think
crackheads.
I think I've never actually heard anybody even mention Blood Heal before.
Yeah, I've never seen it in game. I've maybe have seen Bloodburst. Maybe.
By the way, this is how much we know about Dominions and how much you should be listening to us on
I don't think-
strategy.
I really want to emphasize, I don't think, like, obviously we all know players who have played this game for way too many hours, not even including the people in the call, but I don't think I've ever heard it even mentioned as a spell, like, option, possibility,
like-
anywhere, ever.
Yeah, like a Dairycraft. Like I don't think it's
No, like, nobody's ever mentioned this spell to me.
Well, you could, in theory, use it for some fucking
I guess, like-
communion bullshit.
Who would use it? Like, I'm trying to think.
Well,
Well,
if
no,
you
you
do,
just have
remember those turbos?
Yeah,
We were
you
doing-
have
It's harder to do it on turbos now because you have to have big. It would be the only use case I could see would be on Blood Nations trying to do turbo comms without nature. I don't know who fits that bill. Um,
Well, it's not good because like
Bogros? I
heal,
don't know. Shit.
like heal.
yeah, but who do you use
on
as the
camp.
communion slave? Like, you can kill your mage in 1 round on Bogaroos.
Oh, but that's why you have to give him armor and a fucking coral blade. Ah!
Well, I wouldn't
True,
do
now
that.
you can do that.
I don't recommend
Oh,
that.
that's
It's-
expensive.
Oh, they also moved Infernal Prison and Claws of Cocktoast to Blood 8 instead of...
Yeah,
being
so
Blood
you don't
9.
have to go to 9 to get them. That makes sense.
Which
to
is
me.
smart.
Well,
the,
yeah,
the
because they
fucking
vote.
the fucking 9 change is fucking stupid. I don't want to play with that on, but whatever.
Well, you can just turn it off then, can't you?
Easy clap.
The problem is almost everybody's been playing with it on.
Well, nobody's even looked at it so far.
You know, skill issue. Like the Dominions community, like the devs actually give us a lot of things to like make the game the way you want it. And then the Dominions community will play with default settings and complain about them.
I
mean-
do think it is a good setting to add for larger games.
I would only
Is-
ever having it on as default is goofy. I would only ever turn it on like
Yeah.
fucking Iridia or something.
It is
Like
it
a
is
20,
a much
I think in like a 20-player game, it might make sense.
yeah, it
because-
is a much better setting than very difficult research.
Yeah,
Listen,
oh
if
you
yeah,
think of-
Jesus Christ.
One of the summons that nobody ever made in Blood, like the Succubus or whatever, actually might be disgusting now because it's a glamour mage. That's an
I
assassin.
made Succubi.
It's Glamour 2, yeah, the Succubus is Glamour 2
Get
now.
yourself some fucking seducers, man. Like,
Yeah, but
Well,
they're
they're dream
seducers.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
dream seduction, which is.
But now they have glamour magic too, so like I guess they might be.
Speaking of mages who became Glamour mages, Troll Kings are now Glamour 1.
I know, it's hilarious. Speaking of mages
Sounds
who
funny.
became glamour mages, Tanuki, now glamour.
Yes, exactly. Kitsune, Same price, same paths to cast.
Listen,
Glamour 3.
So much better.
Such a good mage for the nation.
Fuzzy raccoon dog waddling about Japan.
Yes, exactly.
This is a glamour mage.
All right,
I'm just gonna say, aside from making the Tatsu sacred, all of your, which hasn't happened, all of your Jome and Shiniyama line changes, beautiful. Keep going.
All right, before we move on to another topic, so I just want to touch on this. I think in order to fix up Blood with the changes, the paths and buffing all the trees, all Ilunter would have to do is add a plus summoning to a lot of these summon spells, and I think they would have some viability. And that would be a really simple change they could do, but they probably won't.
Basically, we want at least 3 Spine Devils per cast, because otherwise they're just simply outclassed.
I mean, even
it's not even Spine. It's not even. No. Hold on. So it's not just Spine Devils, right? It's all of them. It's the Shadow Fiends or whatever, the ones that are I don't know if they're undisciplined.
They're not undisciplined.
Bone Fiends are fine, right?
No, the Flying Serpents. The Serpents.
Oh, the stupid Serpent Devils or whatever they're called. They suck.
They all just need scaling. Like, it's just.
Where are they? Are they 1?
They're 2.
They used to be 2.
2.
Fine Fiend.
No, they're level 4. What a joke! You get 3 for 4.
Fiend. You do get 3. What was it in 5?
I think it was 1, and you got.
So basically, this is now a well, hold on. Are they still on dis? We gotta check. But
it was 2 for 1. Now it's 4 for 3.
Basically, basically now
they were not undisciplined in 5. I doubt they are in 6.
Okay, all right. Well, if they're not on dis, you can do things with them, but they're still very goofy. They're like a flying poison spitter, so they're like. Maybe they're worth casting now. Who knows? Cast some of them. Find out.
They do the death poison.
Well, getting 3 instead of...
No, it's not magic.
Getting 3 is definitely better. I would still prefer some scaling. I think the tree would be more thematic.
Were they at 4? They were at 4 for 1?
Yes, they
5.
were.
Okay, so they literally tripled their efficiency, preempting our bitching about it. Very good.
True, and they are 50% more blood slave efficient as well. So.
Yeah, but will they actually be useful? Just slap a scaling.
Yeah,
why
use them? Just try them out.
Why can't your Grand Warlock summon a shitload of these things if he's Blood 9? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, you're. Super powerful blood mage. I only can summon one guy because my mage is too stupid to figure it out. Like he's Blood 9. You should know everything about blood.
In order to switch gears, though, I generally agree with that. Switching gears a little bit to the cave layer, I have so far really enjoyed what the cave layer has played and what is added to the game, because now your borders are not like Euclidean. Granted, I haven't been in wars down there. They might be linear and bad, but like just expanding. I really enjoy the cave layers like kind of expansion minigame. I really enjoy how like cave indies kind of have ones that counter other indie types, and so you can like actually like kind of game out the expansion. And I also think that like in the game I've been playing or games I've seen, I think like players, unless there's someone who spawns down there, players tend to like underthink it when it is actually like both a lot of money now and something that like requires a lot of thought to go into. I think players like they'll ignore it and they'll have like no cave layer even when they're like a civilization that could have cave stuff. And now also like random dark vision on like completely random units that otherwise was not worth even a second look in 5 are now like, okay, wait a minute, this is actually important. Or maybe people will just all start taking Spirit Sight as a matter of course and going underground with it. But
all right.
I don't think they will, honestly.
I have some strong opinions about the cave layer. So, in general, I think I would agree with you. There's 2 things that come to mind with the cave layer introduction. So, one of the issues it does kind of create is choke points, which could be good and bad depending on how many cave entrances you have on a given map. So it makes it like a very choke pointy point of the map where people can just like sit in.
Right.
The other issue with cave indies in general, I think most of them, the design is pretty good. However, I think the shade indie is kind of a outlier of kind of probably like it was kind of like fine in 5 because like they weren't that common, but in Dom 6 they're quite a common indie, and they should either be made like super rare, in my opinion, because now that magic weapons is not as accessible, not a lot of people have it. You can't recruit a magic weapon that from indies even, so this province will like sit there for a while, and you have to make really big forces. And in games where you random a bunch of shades, you kind of get screwed over. So yeah, I think they're the most problematic.
I would agree with that. It's like they went from being, well, they're a common cave type, but in 5 that wasn't a big problem because caves were uncommon and they were just a province on the map, so you'd avoid them. But now it's like if you are a cave nation and you are not prepared to fight shades, and you have shades and you're like cap circle, then you might have to go around 2 provinces in your cap circle. So I would agree with that. I would like it if they were moved to like an uncommon indie type, because I think they're common cave and there's just too many shade provinces, and I think they like really make cave expansion uneven. Like maybe that's the price that the cave layer players have to pay for like starting in their home habitat or whatever. Like maybe Illwinter intends that as a design, like you better take some fucking magic weps if you're underground. But to my mind, it just makes it makes that like caves have like some bad potential for like choke points, like clogging a choke point with them, and or like again, they could potentially make some bad starts in the cave. Now,
even worse.
Yeah,
and it doesn't help. It doesn't help that like in caves you move super slow. There's no cave survival, so
that's
like,
true. That is a huge.
Why do Zots move so slowly in caves?
Like Zots are like there's all these like cave nations. They move like you're playing MA Ulm.
Well,
so you're super slow.
In cold.
Having been to Mammoth Cave, it makes a little bit of sense that cave movement is slow.
Not for bats. Like, come on, bro.
But like, yeah, you should have cave survive. Like, there's every other terrain survival, and now caves are an entire layer. So why isn't there?
Well, there's no water survival. Maybe fish. Maybe actual fish should like move faster underwater than Atlanteans.
Hold on,
I don't
homie.
know.
There's already like amphibian, poor amphibian, good amphibian. And
yeah, but that doesn't slow you down, does it? HP.
I guess not. I mean, do we really want to have
like
fish
why
survival?
are the movement? I guess I'm questioning why movement costs are higher underwater when you have.
I feel like you're hijacking
Rovsea, you've opened up like the worst kettle of fish possible, because now like hey Rob, our movement, is there a movement penalty for kelp forests?
There could be. It probably
swim
is.
over them, bro.
Well, isn't the whole point of the kelp forest that it's going towards the surface of the water?
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess there could be a case for a movement penalty in a kelp forest.
Listen, I just think there should be cave survival. I don't think these nations they're supposed to be like cave adepts, like you would expect a cave man.
Let the Zots be fast underground. Like that's fine.
Like the Zot should be faster. Like I just think they should have cave survival in general. I don't think it should really increase the cost.
I think Winter's using dark vision.
I kind of want to say something to Nick real quick. Do you mind? I don't know if we need to mute the video or anything. I don't think you should make that Holy Scourge versus Dione.
Yeah, you're right. The armor piercer.
I think it's gonna do fire, and it's gonna not do anything because of.
Just make GSS, bro.
It says 7 armor negating holy damage, but I think there's a really good chance that's fire, and I'm pretty sure Diones have enough fire.
No, holy damage is its own thing.
Yeah, how many instances of holy damage that wasn't fire have you seen in the game? Really, where?
Isn't that stupid ass fucking worm spell? Holy damage?
That was a mod.
No, the like Ravenous Swarm.
No, that's poison.
Oh, fuck. Why the fuck is that? Whatever.
I think that's poison. Hold on. I'm questioning everything.
It says poison, but I don't
It's
think it
fun,
actually.
right?
No.
It's like
No,
I think it's
conch.
coded as poison, but it's like ignores poison resistance or something.
Alright, so.
I don't know.
It says holy damage now. Maybe it works. I don't know. I'm just leery of it because I'm pretty sure they never fixed frickin'.
Oh yeah, so they basically nerfed that item into
solar weapon.
Back to the cave lane.
Yeah, thanks, Rovsea.
I'm sorry. I just didn't want him to.
Like it's very funny that Zots are like one of the easiest cave indies unless you roll like an absurdly large number of them, in which case they will just evaporate your force. But then you can take those Zots, and then a bunch of other indies in the cave have very low commander numbers, so you can't just snipe them with your stupid ass Zots that you pick up.
Yeah,
off the ground.
Zots are very good against cavemen, notably.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of weird. I didn't know this.
Cavemen have
I learned
terrible
this from Zan.
stats. But yeah, cavemen...
But they do have fire resist, so they kill burning one. That's all I got.
Okay, well, cavemen are very interesting because in 5 they were not even they aren't a hard province type, but they could be surprisingly dangerous because they beat down elites and they lose to like large numbers of swarms. So it's again very interesting because your normal, like what you would think of as good expansion where you have a small number of elites that goes indefinitely, they run into cavemen and they fucking die. But then you can go and you can take your stupid ass, the other new like Pyrenees based cave indie type, and you can take those guys and just recruit a horde of the spear shitters, and then they'll just or Bagisho or something, and they'll just swarm the cavemen down and stab them to death.
Apparently, I DC'd. Where did I stop talking?
Wait, you DC'd?
Did you? I don't think you did.
I don't think you DC'd.
I definitely.
It might have been for like a second or something.
No, it was like a good 20 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, what did you want to say in those 20 seconds?
Oh, I was just talking about. I think like Cynos are in a good spot, but Shinos and Shades are definitely the two hardest. But Shades are I think, yeah, they need to do something about that. Or they should give.
Hey, it's HP Munchcraft here. I've split up this episode for editing purposes, but join us for the second half of this episode where we will continue discussing our hot takes and observations on Dom 6, which hopefully will be out shortly.